What's up, guys? This is TBZ.
Here with Crispy.
And BLT Daxon.
And we also have Candlelit and Ice by JD from the JD clan with another PC build. This PC build is for Candlelit. She just popped out and grabbed all the parts for it, and it's looking awesome, and it's purely for gaming. So we'll show you guys another build.
Yeah, we're going to also answer some of the questions you guys have been leaving us on our other PC builds in this video. Clarify a few things, if you're unsure, or, we'll just answer them here.
Cool. The total cost of this build is $1,427. And now we'll jump into every part individually and show you what we got. Alright guys, sweet. So first up we have the chassis, the Silencio 550. And a few of the things to note with this chassis is that it has the insulation for audio. It's also got some drive bays which are removable, so you can get better airflow through there. And then the fans, it has an exhaust at the back for the rear fan, has a front fan, and one at the base for the power supply. Now we'll quickly jump into the specs on here so you can have a read. If you want, you can just pause the video and have a look, but I'll quickly jump through it. So it has 7 hidden 3.5 inch drive bays, 2.5 inch HDD, and the cooling system. It's just all the standard specs for your average chassis. And we'll quickly jump and have a chat to Candlelit. And why did you choose this chassis?
It's pretty.
Awesome. Loving it. Alright, sweet. Moving on to the motherboard.
Boom, Asrock Extreme 4, that's 4 times the Extreme. This is the motherboard that's been picked out. It's the 3rd generation, so it's going to support, Ivory Bridge processors there. Also, I don't know if you'll be able to focus, but the RAM itself goes up to 2800, so that's super fast. You're not going to need anything, you're not going to need anything better than this for a long time to come because, RAM's just getting up to that cap right now. Other than that, man, it's your standard motherboard. It's basically going through and replacing the 68 series. So the one that I got for my computer was a Z68 Extreme 4. And these are just coming through now because they support, Ivy Bridge, and they're just a different kind of chipset and layout on the board itself. But, it's got all the standard features, and given that it's Extreme 4, it's really good for overclocking as well. So that will go in hand with the processor that we'll talk about in a second. But other than that, yeah, pretty awesome motherboard, and it seems to be the standard now for any gaming enthusiast. Anyway, on to some other parts.
Alright guys, now we have the graphics card, which is the Gigabyte HD 7770. Now this has the 28 nanometer processor architecture technology, which essentially means it's more power efficient, but it is prone to overheating if you are to overclock it. But this does bring us to the fan. It does have a 100mm fan, which is quite big for a graphics card, and that's awesome for the cooling. And now we'll jump over here, and I'll just run you through the ports that it has. It has 1 HDMI, 1 DVI-I, and 2 mini display ports, and that can help with it supports up to 4 screens. Now this graphics card is on par with the 6850 for great performance as well, so that's why we've jumped in and grabbed this one for Candlelit. And cool, so now we can jump into the CPU.
Alright guys, here we have the Intel i5 3570K, so this is basically the next generation up on the 2500K. It is Ivy Bridge technology, so just make sure you have a motherboard that supports it. Now the K basically means that it's unlocked, so you're allowed to play around with the voltages and things like that, so you're able to overclock this bad boy. Personally, I've gone up to 5 GHz on the 2500K, so this one can go a little bit further. It runs at about 95 watts, which is nice and power efficient for CPUs. Compared to, the AMD brands. But anyway, that's just the processor. I'm sure that everyone does their research. It's really good for gaming, the i5 series, because gaming doesn't need hyper-threading. Hyper-threading comes with the i7 series. So, yeah, i5 is about as good as you want to get with it.
Alright guys, now we have a few parts that we just thought we'd do all at once because they only need a little basic explanation. So first up, we've got a Seagate Barracude 2TB 7200 RPM hard drive. Then we have the TP-Link just wireless adapter, that's just for wireless internet. Optical drive, no explanation. We got the Corsair Vengeance 8GB 2 4GB stick RAM, which is awesome, 1600 megahertz, megahertz on that one. And then last we have the Corsair Force GT 60GB solid state hard drive, so we can put the OS on there and it'll run real fast, and just a few games I guess as well. Same as our previous builds. So that's this stuff, and we'll move on to the cooling system.
Alright guys, here we have the cooling system, basically the Corsair Hydro series, the H70. It's, up towards the higher end of their series there. So anyway, it's an internal loop, come pre-filled, and the reason why we went with this one is because it's a 120mm radiator, and the case that we have basically supports that only, doesn't have a 240 place to mount it. Which brings me on to this fan that just appeared. Basically the Spectre Pro, I think it is, yeah. Sick fan. It has 43 CFM, which is basically the airflow measurement, which is quite a lot of throughput there. Super silent, so that goes with the theme of the case here with the audio kind of buffering and stuff like that. Anyway, this is to mount on that radiator, pre-filled loop, really great. It's very similar to TBZ's, good price, and if you want to go a bit better than air cooling, then this is the way to go.
Boom, TBZ. Alright guys, now finally we are left with the power supply, and we have gone for a CoolerMaster GX 750-watt power supply, and this essentially just gives us the freedom to go ahead and give the PC any sort of expansions that we want to give it later on. And what? And yeah guys, so now we will move on to the actual build, and we'll take you through it and show you all the cool stuff that is in the build. So let's do it. Alright guys, now we're just going to be showing you unboxings, and this is Candle unboxing all her PC gear, so enjoy. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the time-lapse of the unboxing, and now we have the complete PC built and ready to go, but we have BLT Daxon and Crispy here who want to mention a few things about the build, and so they'll fill you in now.
Alright, so as you can see, like all the parts are in, and it's basically a standard build. For the motherboard, you get the gold basically standoffs, which you screw in at the bottom first into the case, and then you mount the motherboard on that and then screw into the standoff. So that's just a standard way of operating. You can see the water cooling in there, all set up. BLT Daxon's going to talk about how we went about installing that. Ran into some issues. I think it's mostly due to the instruction manual, but regardless. Okay, and then the standard hard drives, SSD and hard disk drive. Basically, the SSD is mounted on the case that came with the chassis here. Other than that, guys, pretty standard. You can see some good cable management done there by BLT Daxon. One thing to mention, though, is the USB 3 port. Some higher range motherboards have the point for the USB to plug into, but unfortunately this one we had to run all the way around the back of the cable and then plug into a USB 3 adapter on the back to get it on this at the front. So that was just one of the issues we ran into, but other than that, like, it's a small
Small detail there, but yeah.
Just a couple of things to note about the water cooling. First off, the instructions that come with it aren't very good. Apparently there are much better instructions on the Corsair website. They actually have videos to guide you through it. The first problem we had was with the backplate. It's actually the same backplate for all the Intel CPUs, so it's got 3 different holes at each corner. With this motherboard there's 2 holes on there, so you got to get them matched up with the right one. It just says LA 1155 or whatever on the correct hole for the backplate. It's got each of them marked. It doesn't mention that in the instructions, but it definitely helps save a few minutes working out the different holes. And the next thing is, in the instructions it actually tells you to mount the front plate on first and then screw the water cooling into it. You put it in and then turn it in and then screw the water cooling down. We actually found it much easier to put the plate on the water cooling, put that on and then screw it in. Just the other way around makes it a bit easier because the screws aren't very long and you don't have much room there to get it in under that plate. But other than that, I think it's pretty straightforward. As you can see, we've chosen to put fans on either side of the radiator, pushing in and blowing out. Just make sure, yeah, obviously they go in the same way so you get some good airflow through there. And I think that's pretty much it.
Okay guys, so I thought at the end of this video I'd also quickly mention some of the questions you've been leaving us on our other builds. Probably the most frequent question asked is, what can I do to lower the price, or, how can I customize this to my budget? So I thought I'd go through and do some of the downgrades on a system like this so you could fit it into a budget that you have. So first off, we've got like 16 gig RAM. That can definitely go down to 8 gig if you want, less RAM there. That could save you around $40. You could downgrade the H70 down to a H60, which is another like $30 to $40 depending on that. The reason you could probably pick up an i5 2500K right now for a bit cheaper because the new like Ivy Bridge ones have come out, and obviously it's older technology, so they'll be going a bit cheaper, I can imagine. Other than that, guys, you could look at a different case. The reason why we chose this one is because of the noise reduction. By the way, it's 100% quiet. You can't hear a thing out of it, so that is awesome. So you really, get what you paid for there. But if you guys have got any other questions about this build or how you could customize it, feel free to send us a comment or a personal message there, and we'll try and get back to him and possibly do a reply video or something like that. We'd definitely love your feedback. Stay tuned at the end of this video. We've put together some bloopers. I think you'll have a bit of a laugh with that. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We're happy to answer.
This is TBZ.
And BLT Daxi.
Here was Crispy.
We'll see you guys later.
It's the same as crap. I meant to say.
What's up? Oh wait.
It's a H70. Basically, this is to cool the PC, and we want to do it. And it's super quiet.
Alright guys, finally it brings us to the power supply, and we've gone for a CoolerMaster 750 watt GX power supply, and this essentially just lets us we're not gonna point it pinpoint. Oh fuck. Cool. Total cost for this build was $1,400 and 26 $1,400. Oh my god. Alright guys, sweet. So let's start with the chassis, and we have the Silencio. Alright guys, cool, let's start with the chassis. Alright guys, sweet. So first up we have the chassis, the Silencio 550, which is great for the cooling. Actually, I've just forgotten what else to say about it. Now this has the 28 nanometer process. Oh,
it wasn't me, it was his phone. But I tried to shut it up.
Okay. This is the culprit.
This is the faggot.
I stopped it from beeping twice.
What's up, guys? Now here is the. I shouldn't say what's up.
Alright guys, now we have just a few extras that we thought we'd just do all at once because they're not entirely important. Actually no, screw that, because they're actually really important, except as...
Now our computer runs off
no,
CPU.
Our computer runs off carpet. Yes.
I recognise me from such vids as Turtle Beach.
Turtle Beach Review.
Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach Review.
Boom, TBZ.